Why you need to start a business? We're going to answer that question in this video. Okay, let's rock. Let's talk about it. Why do you need to start a business? I'll tell you why you need to start a business. Ultimately, even if you already have a business, is to have a backup plan. I learned this years back. I have a collectible trading card business and we do various items and it's done great. But there were times in that business where some of the manufacturers were making such demands and requirements and things like that where, say we decided to not have a retail store anymore, we were going to lose, say, our ability to get certain products or buy direct or something like that. And I said, wow, I can't really stay in this business, as dynamically as I want to stay in this business unless I keep this retail store. And so I said, wow, these manufacturers have a lot of power over the individual, over these stores. And I didn't like it. So I said, in order to kind of hedge myself against that, I need to start a second business. And so for me, the number one reason why I think you should start even one single business, let's say you're working for a company right now, or you already have a business and maybe you want to start a second, but why you need to start a business is almost like the reason you buy insurance. It's basically to protect yourself in case the other thing falls through. And that over the course of time in life, you're going to work 35, 40, 50 plus years of your life. You might get to a point where, during that time where you've got to do something else, you got to find something else to do. And if you've started a business on the side, even if it was kind of like your hobby and you were just working on it part-time, but you were slowly building it, kind of like when people fix up old cars, old classics and things like that, they don't fix the whole thing up in one night. They do it over the course of a couple years, 2, 3, 4, 10 years, depending on what it is. And then at the end of it, they have this beautiful, fully restored car. And so you could do that with a side hustle, right? With a side business. But even if you don't have a business, let's say right now, because while we're filming this video, we're going through the COVID-19 pandemic. And this thing's been nothing but a roller coaster ride, nothing but a crazy thing that if you're alive today, I don't think you or anybody else on planet Earth has ever experienced anything like this. It's crazy. It was completely disruptive to the financial sector, to people's jobs, to people's lives and things like that. And so if you haven't thought about it yet, I'm sure you have thought about it, which is probably why you're watching this video. If you haven't thought about it, you really need to start a business so that you can basically develop something, especially if it's from home, that you can have some form of income that's based off of you, right? Because what I love about business is as the owner, you dictate your success or your failure. So as you continue to build your business, what's beautiful about my businesses is if I put in more time, I make more money. It's that simple. So the more time I put into my business, the more love I give it, the more money it makes. Sometimes when you do that, if you're working for a corporation, right, or another company, you don't see that, especially if you're like salary. You don't see that. Maybe they're nice enough and they give you a bonus. That's great. But when you own your own business, you've got the ability to basically reward yourself, okay? And that's why a lot of people they don't like to have partners because they don't want to chop it up because sometimes you have a partner that's a bad partner that's not putting in their fair share. They're still collecting money, but they don't put in their fair share. So you're like, well, wait a second, I'm working twice as hard so that this person can get paid, my partner gets paid, but I'm putting in all the work, right? So if you start a business, my first recommendation is do your best to be the only member. Own it yourself. Don't have partners. That's my advice. Now, I'd be a hypocrite if I said that I haven't done that because I have had partners in my businesses. That's okay. But ideally, own it yourself because I've got businesses like in my real estate. I own my existing real estate companies by myself. Now, at some point, I might partner with others if they bring some kind of huge sweat equity or they want to put in a bunch of money or something like that, then I might consider it depending on who it is. But starting a business is a long-term proposal, a long-term obligation, a long-term, whatever you call it, a long-term thing, if you will, okay? A lot of people get into a business, they say, okay, I'm going to start this business and in 2 to 3 years, I'm going to put it on the market, I'm going to sell it for a bunch of money and then relax, chillax or whatever and move on to something else. Nothing wrong with that either if that's your strategy. If you've got it down pat and you understand how to take a business, market it, build it, sell it, great. There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people that do that and they make millions of dollars when they sell the business. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm trying to teach everyone how to really build a good base, a good foundation, start a business, build that base, get it on a rocket ship and make it as successful as you can be. And then if you build that business as successful as it can be, why the heck would you want to sell it? It's residual income. I mean, sure, you're having to put in work, but you enjoy it, right? I mean, hopefully you found something that you love, something that you enjoy. And in my opinion, that's the only type of business you should be doing, unless it's a no-brainer. Some crazy business pays you $1 million a day for shoveling crap. Well, I guess, hey, I'm into that too. So sign me up, okay? But in most cases, you want to find something that you absolutely love, because then you won't feel like you're working every day. You wake up and you love it. And then you get to the end of the day, and even though you did work, it doesn't feel like it. You don't feel like, But it's okay. I'm going to switch gears now. Let's talk about, this is something you see probably in other videos and when people are probably trying to sell an ad or something like that, where you've got the music playing in the background and stuff like that. So let's go down that rabbit hole so we can understand exactly how immensely profitable, how luxurious, how great it can be to own your own business. Doesn't mean everybody that has their own business gets these perks, but let's look at what's at the end of the rainbow, right? What is possible with owning your own business? Because if I can share that with you and share those ideas, if you haven't thought of those yet, that might be just the spark where you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I could do all that stuff. And by sharing this with you, this might be the motivating factor where you say, I've got to start my own business. So here's number one. If you start your own business and you're able to build it, if you're able to put in the work, and if you're able to build it to the point where it's profitable and it's making good money, starting your own business gives you a sky's the limit income possibility, okay? I know that's not like a fancy term there, but sky's the limit. What I mean is you can make any amount of money. You're not going to a boss. You're not going to a boss asking for a raise. You're not sitting there at the end of the year saying, gosh, I hope I get a raise. I've been working hard this year. It's not like that. You dictate your own income. You do. You create your own reality. So think about how powerful that is. So maybe you're making $30,000 a year now, and you're like, well, wow, I wonder if, like, I started my own business, could I make 60? Could I make 100? Could I make $1 million a year? The answer is, could you? Absolutely, you can. So starting your own business gives you an endless opportunity to set goals and to make potentially whatever you want to make. It's up to you. It's your results. It's your creativity. It's your brain. It's your structure, your processes, how you treat people. I mean, all that stuff, goes into the pot to figure out, what the end result is, right? What does the steak look like when it's done? What does the cake look like right after you baked it? That's all the factors. I mean, there's many more factors, but that's what you need to understand. So sky's the limit on income. How about this? If you like traveling, maybe you haven't traveled a lot, but it gives you the ability to travel, not for free, but you get to expense it on the business. So you find things like trade shows, right? Things that are business related, and you get to go to a lot of different destinations in the country or in the world, and your business gets to write that off because you're going for business. And I know that it's not a vacation, but at least you're able to experience a lot of different spots on the globe without having to pay for it, say, out of your personal checking account. And if you're working for somebody else, that's how you have to do it. But what's beautiful about having the business is you make it make sense. And then when you go do that, you learn more, right? You might find new suppliers, new contacts. And so in the end, you just make more money. It elevates you even more, right? And also, why start your own business? Why you need to start a business? Have you ever been one of those people where you're like, I remember this in high school, where you'd get up at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and you got to shower and get ready and get going, and you get to high school and you're like, you're still like exhausted, you're tired because you stayed up too late studying or partying, depending on who you are, right? And you're like, God, I just don't want to do this. And you tell yourself, man, I wish I didn't have to wake up so early in the morning. Okay, so where am I going with this? Why you need to start a business is you create your own schedule. You create your own reality. You create your own schedule. Maybe you're the kind of person that says, I don't like to wake up till noon. Well, if you have your own business and you work hard at it, and as long as you're getting the job done, you can work from noon till midnight. Sleep in if you'd like, right? So you get to create your own schedule. You don't get to do that if you work for somebody else. So that's another perk, right? So let's run down these small, tiny little things, these small, tiny little changes that you might see if you start your own business. You might make a lot more money, right? You might enjoy what you're doing because you've set up something that you enjoy, right? You're going to be able to set your own hours, right? Live life the way that you want to make it, right? You're going to also be able to hire and fire people, right? Depending on who you like, right? You're going to be able to hire people that you enjoy working with. When you're at a corporation, you're stuck with people that they hire. When you have your own business, you get to choose who you hire, right? So every state's different, right? As far as who you can let go and for what reasons. So you got to look at all these Department of Labor laws and things like that. But for the most part, You have the say in who you're bringing on your team. It might be your buddies from high school. You might say, hey, I'm building my business out of all my friends and family, people that you love anyway, right? So look at that perk. Being able to wake up every day and enjoy and say, I'm going to work with everybody that I enjoy that I brought on this team. And that's one of the biggest perks that I get, is the people on our teams in our businesses are people that we like, people that we enjoy working with. That brings a lot of pleasure to your day, right? I mean, who wants to go to work and say, oh, those 3 people I've been working with for the last year, they're impossible to work with. How do I like get out of that predicament? Well, you start your own business. And there's so many other small little factors that will give you reasons to do this. But in the end, it gives you freedom. It gives you more potential to the dreams that you want. That if you want to get that dream house, that dream car, that dream boat, whatever, that big expensive piece of jewelry, whatever you've always wanted in your life, I'm not saying you can't get that working for somebody else or for a corporation, but your own business with your own work and hard work and figuring it out gives you a much stronger possibility to achieve all those goals. And I think in the end, you'll get a lot more fulfillment, because when you've started your own business and you've built it up and you've been able to give jobs to people that you like, there's a huge fulfilling piece of that I did that. Wow, I was able to do that. And you get rewarded handsomely by earning more money. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Remember, in life, no matter how hard it gets, never give up, keep pushing, and be the hustler.